Well, hello again. Today we're going to talk about sad, or how to not be sad, or beating the winter blues. When I say sad, I don't mean feeling sorrow, I mean seasonal affective disorder. Sad is normal, okay? I think lots of people, I think it's actually mostly women, feel the effects of sad, but I don't feel like you have to suffer with it. I feel like a lot of people, myself included, deal with it, and I don't think it has to be like in the winter months. I know personally I feel, the effects of seasonal affective disorder in like the middle of the summer or toward the end of the summer. I live in Florida, so July, August, when it's miserably hot outside and I don't want to go outside and do anything. And the only thing I want to do outside is like be in the pool. 'Cause like I have always been a fall, winter kind of girl. I love Thanksgiving. I love Christmas. I love the lights and the decorations and the colors and the clothes and the holidays and the music and the movies. I mean, I love that time of year. I've never been a summertime girl. I'm going on a tangent. My point is, I don't think it's limited to feeling it in the winter. So I think a lot of this stuff that I'm going to talk about today, I mean, you can take it and apply it to your life however you want, or not at all. You're not gonna hurt my feelings, but you know yourself better than anybody else. So you know when you start to feel this, okay? So just, take all of this with a grain of salt and maybe consider applying some of these principles to your daily life or not. I also want to say that even though it's normal, you don't have to feel ashamed about it, and you should seek help if you feel like it's necessary or if you think it will help you. Don't feel shame for seeking help about this, because for some people it's very mild, for some people it can be very serious, and there's nothing wrong with seeking help. I'm not a doctor, okay? Not at all. These are my like holistic tips, and this is kind of a list of the things that I do, things I try to prioritize to help myself through the tough season or tough seasons of the year. And I do want to mention, I lived in Missouri for like 20 years, and my mom always jokes about how Missouri has 3 seasons of quote unquote brown. So instead of it being like 4 seasons, spring, summer, fall, winter, she used to joke that Missouri had 5 seasons, and the 5th season was the brown season, and we would have brown in February and August and November. So she hated the brown seasons. And I kind of get it. February, I think, was the worst month in Missouri just because it was so cold, so dark, there's nothing to do. Like when I was in school, it was just kind of blah. You're in the middle of the spring semester, which always feels like a sprint anyway. And so it was just not exciting, And then moving to Florida, it's such a dramatic change because I think February in Florida is like the most beautiful month down here. It is stunning. The tababuya trees, they bloom, and they're like beautiful big yellow blooms, and they're so pretty. Anyway, they bloom in February, and it's just my favorite. I love them. But I just wanted to say that I have lived through like the miserable winter months in like the Midwest, and I get it. That's part of why we moved to Florida anyway. So I definitely understand. So we'll talk about first things first. These are just the basics, and these are important all of the time, but especially so when you feel like nothing's going right. Diet. Try to eat well, eat nutrient-dense foods. You can indulge occasionally, within reason. I'm not saying that you should go on a crazy diet in January and like jump on the bandwagon with everybody else and be like, new year, new me. If that's your thing, go for it. But I don't think that when you're approaching the, miserable months of the winter, making yourself even more miserable with a new diet that you don't like and not allowing yourself to indulge every now and then, I think it can be a little harsh. So, I mean, if you're gonna do that, that's fine. But I do think that you should be kind to yourself and allow yourself to indulge in treats occasionally. Next, water. Drink enough water to hydrate your body. It is so critical to, maintaining homeostasis in your body. I just started school last week. It's one of the very first things we learned about is homeostasis and how your body needs enough water and salt, so electrolytes too. Not that there's anything wrong with plain water, there's not, but the occasional Gatorade or like electrolyte drink powder is not gonna harm you. It's actually probably a good idea. Sleep. Try to get the recommended 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. More sleep or less sleep could be detrimental. If you're sleeping like a ton and you have no energy and you just feel sleepy all the time, I think you should probably talk to your doctor. Sleeping too much and having no interest in anything else is a sign of depression. So try to sleep, and get what your body needs, but don't try to sleep too much. Don't try to sleep the season away. It's not going to work that way. People don't hibernate like bears do. And activity. Get some form of some physical movement in a couple times a week. If you want to go for a walk every night after dinner, I know it's really good for your digestion. That's a good thing. Bonus points if your activity is outside during sunlight hours, because sunlight is so important. I know they have like they're like lamps or like, what do they call them? Like not screens, but it's like a square. Think of like a computer screen, but it's like a light, like a lamp. It's called like a happy light. And it's supposed to mimic sunlight, and they're intended to help people who are dealing with, seasonal affective disorder, especially in the winter months, but there's nothing like the real thing, and getting it first thing in the morning I think is supposed to help with your circadian rhythm. The benefits of real sunlight are bountiful, but try to consider getting some movement in, at least a couple of times a week. They have like YouTube videos where you can walk inside. Even if you don't have a treadmill, you're basically stomping in place. And I've done them before, and some of them you can get like work up a sweat, but like going outside for a walk, taking your dog for a walk, gardening, all of that stuff is good for you. And all of those things are very basic. I know that, anybody's going to tell you that, any Google article is going to tell you that, but we're going to move on to some of the more fun stuff now, because like you have to, if you're going to talk about it, and I'm going to talk about it, we have to talk about the basic stuff first. Eat right, drink water, sleep, but not too much, and try to get some physical activity in your day. So we're going to go back to the topic of like indulging. I think you should allow yourself to indulge in things within reason. I know, like I said, lots of people like to use January 1st as an excuse to make over their entire way of life, but no rule says you have to have a New Year's resolution. No one says you have to go on a diet January 1st. So if you're thinking, well, I like watching football and I like eating boneless chicken wings during football games, and I like having a beer or two. No one says you have to start on January 1st. If you've got plans, or if you just want to kind of ease your way into the new year, start your diet February 1st, March 1st, March 22nd. Like, nobody says you have to do it on the 1st of January. And if it's going to help you get through the icky parts of the year that you don't like, maybe just, allow yourself to continue to live as you have been. I know we're just coming off of like the crazy holiday season, but like, I don't know, just take things at your own pace. Maybe don't make any drastic changes to your life until you're in a better mental headspace. Spend time with your friends and family, because like I mentioned just before, we're coming off of like the dizzying busy holiday season, and it might sound really nice in the moment to have a month with no plans. You're not going to go anywhere, you're not going to see anybody, you're just going to stay home, and you're not going to have any social obligations for the entire month. To me, like, I don't like having social obligations. However, I still try to make myself leave the house at least once a month. It's really easy for me to fall into a rut and isolate myself, either intentionally or unintentionally. But if I don't make an effort to spend time with people and to make myself do things, I will go days, weeks without leaving the house and without communicating with anybody outside of like my immediate family circle. I mean, I know it sounds like I'm asking a lot. I'm not saying you have to go out and do something big. You don't have to go to a party, but maybe invite a friend over. Maybe you could share a pizza and watch a movie. Like, you don't have to like interact a whole lot, but it's important to continue to foster relationships, talk to people, and, you know, just get a little bit outside your comfort zone and foster relationships with people. Dwell more on gratitude, positivity, you know, things that make you happy. I read this book a few years ago. I'm gonna grab it because I'm in the library. Hold on 1 second. We lost the blanket, but that's okay. Okay, so I read this book several years ago, right when Mom and I moved to Florida, and it's called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. You've probably heard of it. It went, you know, like wild several years ago, but it's by Marie Kondo, and it's about organizing, okay? And I'm not going to tell you to organize your life. You can, you can't, you don't have to. That's not what I'm going to talk about. I want to talk about the takeaway that I got from this book, because I think it's so cool that I read this book to Mom, and it's kind of changed the way we do everything now. If you watch my channel regularly, you know that like my mom and I will go to TJ Maxx and we'll just say something, you know, vaguely like it's not shiny, or, you know, we'll refer to something as being shiny. Even if the thing is not particularly shiny, we're referring to the idea of this particular thing sparking joy. What I learned from this book is that if something does not spark joy, you should get rid of it, or, you know, like purge as much of that item as you can. Some things don't spark joy but are necessary, but some of the things that you have in your closet that like don't fit you don't spark joy. They're not shiny. Get rid of them, because it's just bogging you down. And like if you go in your closet and you're looking at your stuff and you're like, well, I can't wear half of this because it doesn't fit me, it's putting you in a negative mindset. You're not being grateful for the things you have. You don't like the things you have because they're not serving you. So either put them away or get rid of them entirely. So our application of that principle is like we will use it to talk about items in our kitchen, and not food, but like we love our refrigerator. We love our like countertop toaster oven. I love Thomas's panini press. Our pots and pans are great, but it doesn't have to be like an inanimate object. There are people in your life that are shiny. There are experiences in your life that are shiny. And so I think dwelling on those things and even saying it out loud, because sometimes when I'm, you know, I can feel myself slipping and I'm just like in a bad mood, I'm grumpy, I'm tired, you know, I'm sad for whatever reason, I try to think of at least one thing that's shiny. Sometimes it's my coffee mug because I really like, you know, my coffee mug because it's a Christmas mug. Or sometimes I'm feeling a little bit more sentimental and I'm thinking, oh gosh, I really am so grateful for my mom, my sister, my boyfriend. Some days I'm feeling really practical and I'm like, today I'm so grateful that I have a job that allows me to work from home and I get to pay my bills. I have a boss that respects me and appreciates me. And so I just think putting yourself in the mindset of these are the things that I like, these are the things that bring me joy, and then like even saying it out loud helps reinforce that idea, and doing that, you know, a couple of times a week or every day, doing that, you know, making that part of your morning ritual when you're brushing your teeth, you know, you're just thinking, these are the good things in my life and these are the things, you know, that are shiny, can help put you in a better headspace than it's so dark out, you know? And I don't want to guide you down that path, but I do want to help you to see that gratitude, and you don't have to write it down, you know? You can if you want to. But I think even just walking around your house and like appreciating the things that you have and appreciating the people in your life can help you change your mindset. All right, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about doing things that you actually enjoy. So we know that January, February, there's like a couple of minor holidays, right? But there's no major holiday. So there's no like huge social calendar, you know, lots of events. There's no, you know, big thing gathering people together. So This is time for you to do things that you like, things that you enjoy. If that's working in your planner and like getting a routine set out, that's something that I enjoy. I love getting myself into a new pattern and like seeing how long I can get my streak to go. I love that, right? Sometimes that's watching movies or reading books, playing board games. If you like visiting local museums or parks, I know that we just got home today from the Renaissance Fair and that was so much fun. But, you know, even if you enjoy your Christmas decorations, no one says you have to take them down. I mean, our HOA says we have to take the outside stuff down, but we could have kept the inside stuff up until March if we felt like it. Ours is down for our own reasons, but like some years, we will leave it up a little bit longer because we just want to enjoy the lights, the splendor, just a little bit longer. And that's okay. You don't have to live by the rules that society has set for you just because everyone else is doing it. If it makes you happy and you're not harming anyone else, do the thing that you want to do. And if that is binging every single episode of Phineas and Ferb and writing down the things that make you laugh, because we've done that, there's nothing wrong with that. You're not harming anybody. In fact, you're bringing yourself a little bit of joy. We're down to the last thing on this list. And so far, most or nearly all of these have been free or at least fairly inexpensive. This last one I'm leaving for last because it can be expensive depending on to what degree, you know, you take this suggestion, and that is to take a trip. If you're living in a cold, dark environment during the winter and you find yourself yearning for sunlight and warmth, maybe consider taking a trip to the Bahamas or to Mexico, you know, Florida even. Although Florida right now is just kind of dreary. Also, it's been gray and not really rainy. It did rain today, but it's just been kind of cool and not very like bright. You know, they call it the Sunshine State, but we haven't had much of that lately. I mean, I think Disney cruises are a great place to find joy because people, especially kids on Disney cruises, are overflowing with joy and excitement just to be there and to see all the things. And I find it contagious, especially when I'm surrounded by so much color and life and just general optimism and happiness. It's so much fun. I don't suggest you make like a huge financial commitment, especially if you're in like a really bad headspace. But if you know, every year around this time, I start to feel bad, maybe consider like planning a trip for next year around this time, being like, hey, let's plan a little getaway. And it doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to do a Disney cruise. You could do, something else. But if you can, I definitely suggest a Disney cruise. I've got friends getting ready to go on a Disney cruise and I'm like so excited for them. But I do think that taking a trip to escape, your everyday life, especially if it's been a while and you haven't been anywhere, doing it in, the season where you're going to want to escape from the dark depths of winter, it's maybe not a bad thing to, pack a little bag and get away from it, especially if you can plan it in advance. Do it wisely and don't make any financial obligations that you can't uphold. I don't want to make light of this situation. Like I said, I deal with it too sometimes, and it can be a very serious issue. So while some of these tips may help you, if you feel like you need help outside of these tips, seek help from a professional, a licensed professional. I'm not one, so don't ask me, but there are licensed professionals everywhere. I know they're online now. We've got like telemedicine now, so you can find help pretty easily, and I think mental health resources are becoming more widely available, which is great. And I'm going to have some links to articles in the description box. But that is going to be it from me today. I wore pink today, not blue, because we are beating the winter blues. At least I am. I hope you are. I hope you're having a happy, wonderful day. I had one, and I hope you are too. And that's going to be it from me. You guys will see me in another video really soon. Bye!